So before we move on to turn 3, I made a mistake, on that turn 1 encounter with Marie and the rat thing. So yeah, it said if you find him, you must encounter him. So we're going to do this battle really quick because Marie has to, and that way we get our first, her first battle out of the way here. So she can't sneak past it because it's -4. Sneaking past it was not going to be an option. So we are dealing with a will check because her sliders have not moved of 3 to see if she loses any sanity. She does indeed lose a sanity. And then she's -1 on the attack, so she gets 2 plus 3 for the enchanted knife, -1, so 4 dice. So not much is going to change here. She already lost the sanity, but let's make sure she doesn't lose health as well. She does not. Alright, so just wanted to take care of that really quick because that was a dumb mistake. Alright, so she's down 5 sanity instead of 6. It's the only thing that has changed. Alright, so welcome to turn 3. So early in the game, you want to kind of get prepared for the long game. That people are going to be able to take care of monsters, seal gates with enough clues, all that jazz. I don't feel we're doing that too great. I know it's only been in a couple turns, but I think I am going to try and get William up to that gate sooner rather than later. The problem is that we're dealing with this raining cats and dogs mythos cards, so we have 1 less movement point right now. And William, who is actually the first player in turn 3 here, go ahead and make that move. He doesn't have, he just doesn't have the weapons, and he also only has 3 speed, so that gives him 2 speed, which is nothing. So I'm going to hope that that Mythos card goes away, and he is going to just go ahead and get himself his 3rd clue. That just seems like a better use of time. I know that if the Mythos card doesn't go away, it's going to take him longer to get to Hibbs Roadhouse, but, part of me is hoping that the Night Gaunt flies to the sky, and that will give William a very easy passage into the other worlds. So that's going to be our first turn here, to just go to the graveyard, and he should feel very comfortable there. Should feel like home, being the gravedigger he is. Alright, Jenkins had a very poor time at the Curiosity Shop last turn, and I'm kind of struggling with what I want to do here, because I do want him to pass off the Nameless Colts to Marie. I don't like having them both necessarily waste a turn in the same location. So I could use his 4 speed and just have him spend 1 turn in the library, and then Marie can go and into a more unstable location and pick up another clue token. And I think that that's what I'm going to do at this juncture, just because I don't know what family magic does. I feel like maybe I've seen it once before, but I do know that it should be pretty easy for Marie to get those 2 spells if she has the Nameless Colts and the Cult to Goal. So, let's look again at this Mythos card. Speed checks. Okay, we get 1 less point in the movement phase. So, I think Marie will be able to use her, at least one of the 2, if not both tomes this turn. I won't be using the Dole Chance for Bob this turn, however, or the old journal. I'll hopefully be doing the old journal next turn though, so I'm going to actually move his Lore Luck slider up, because if he can get those clue tokens, he's going to be close to passing the jackpot, which is pretty much the easiest personal story I've seen, by the way. Okie dokie, so Bob, as discussed, is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, meet up with Marie, and pass off the Nameless Colts. Um, I'm considering giving her the dull chance too. I mean, he's just not a lore dude, so he'd have to get very successful on that versus the old journal being, lore -1. The dull chance is lore -2. Best he can do there is a, 1 die. So we're gonna give her dull chance as well. We are just beefing up Marie. I'm not sure if that's fair or not, but hey, and it doesn't really fit Bob's nature of kind of being that greedy dude. But hey, maybe he got so scared by that, blood writing on the wall that he found in that black cave that he's realizing, this is no time to be searching for a boat. This is a time to defeat an ancient one. So anyway, let's go ahead and have Marie with her 3 movement points. She's gonna go and I don't think it matters that much. I think I'm gonna have her go to the unvisited isle. She now has 4 clue tokens. And well, you know what? No, I'm not going to. Check that. Because we have these tomes. I need to use them. So she's just going to use 2 movement points to go over to the science building, actually. And that allows her to start doing some of her tomes, because the Nameless Cult just needs 1 movement point. She only has 1 movement point left. So, exhaust and spend 1 movement point to make a lore -1 check. So she has a lore 4, so we're talking about 3 dice here. And we have a 5, so she is successful. Alright, so if you pass, draw 1 spell, lose 1 sanity, and discard. Alright, so her spell is the Mists of Relay, which is pretty great because you can cast an exhaust to pass an evade check. So if we need her to get past some monster for whatever reason, that's a good one to have. Now, she did just draw a spell, so we get to put a clue token on Family Magic. Alright, so that was good use of her movement there, with just 3 points. And then Hank, so looking it over, I mean, we're looking at 4 dice with the need for 2 successes here when it comes to Barnabas, and that's not good odds. That's not good odds. He also doesn't have enough clue tokens to go and do much in terms of closing gates. So I think I'm going to start defying the odds, or playing the odds. We have 1 in 8 chance, and he's going to go over and take 2 clue tokens. All right, as he finds lots of evidence about Ghatanathoa at Cold Spring Glen, something comes over him, and he shudders as he sees something. This Visage token. I don't even know what that is. I'm trying to tell a narrative story, but alright. One of these 8. We're going to go with this one. Whew. Alright, he's fine. He did not see Ghatanathoa. So we now have a 1 in 7 shot next time that happens. So, would have loved to avoid that, but I find that every turn is crucial, and if you can get to 5 clue tokens quicker, then, take 1 extra turn. And also, there were only, 4 total tokens in Dunwich anyway, so, I mean, he would have had to have traveled elsewhere, and that doesn't sound like a fun time. So, multiple clues there for Hank. All right, we are to the encounter phase. So, William, again, hanging out at home. It would be so thematic and awesome if you found an ally here at this juncture. But, you know, it doesn't often happen that way. Just like I don't often roll a 20 and a 19 on the encounter. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, in the graveyard. Carefully stepping inside a mausoleum at the graveyard, okay? You are horrified to hear the door slam shut behind you, locking you in with the corpses and coffins. All night you remain trapped, jumping at every soft scratching sound and low moan of the wind. Stay here next turn. In addition, you must pass a will -1 check or search the Madness deck for a Necrophobia card and take it. Okay, not a good encounter. Will -1 check for William. Could be worse. He's got 4 will, so that's 3 dice. Come on. Don't want no necrophobia. Alright, we got a 6. Don't need to worry about that. But he is delayed. Oh, he loves the graveyard and being trapped in mausoleums, apparently. Okay. Bob is in the library, so he's going to have an encounter in one of the stable locations, which normally works out well. Like to hang out there every once in a while, but you don't want to spend too much time, just because you end up, you know, there's not a whole lot of reason to hang out in stable locations, right? So, 10th card. I am going to put my phone down for a sec. Sorry about that. Alright. Idly flipping open a tedious-looking novel, he's bored. You discover that its binding is false. This is no novel, but something much more dire. Make a will -1 check. If you pass, you get a tome. If you fail, you lose 2 sanity. He's also got goodwill. So, talking about 3 dice to get another tome. Apparently, this is the game of tomes. Except I did not pass. I don't feel like using his clue token to re-roll a die for that, unfortunately. So, we lose 2 sanity. He's been doing that. He's getting freaked out by all the occurrences that are going on here. So, he's going to go down to 2 sanity. Okie dokie. Marie is in the science building. So I need to get that yellow deck back out. Ugh. Alright, what is going on in the science building, Miss Marie? A chemical brew bubbles on a nearby Bunsen burner. It smells delicious. If you drink it, make a luck check. I only have 1 die in the luck department. Something to keep in mind. If you pass, the strange liquid fortifies you. You get to gain that many points split between. Either way, I'm going to drink it. And if I fail, it's coffee and I get 1 stamina. She has no stamina to heal, but she does have a sanity to heal. So she does not get anything worthwhile from that encounter. From the strange brew that was bubbling. And Hank is over in Dunwich at Cold Spring Glen. So let's see what Dunwich has for Hank, shall we? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The water splashes upward as a monster appears. Alright, well, he's very well, he's pretty much our best monster killer currently, so hoping that this is not a terrible monster, and maybe we can get himself another trophy. It's a Dole, which is not an easy monster by any way, shape, or form. Holy moly. The sneak is 1. So we're talking about -1. Ugh. We may have to use our dynamite on this one. And it's still only 4 extra dice, but... ugh. I mean, luckily, again, he doesn't have to worry about the sanity check due to his special skill. But if he fails the combat check, we are in trouble. And we're kind of in trouble anyway, but we get 6 die. We need 3 successes. I mean, Hank may end up using a couple clue tokens. Oof. There's a decent chance that we're going to fail our personal story because of this. He likely is going to go unconscious or insane. Unconscious before insane. This is a bad monster. So this roll has to be very solid. We are using the dynamite and discarding it after use. He has physical resistance. So again, we have to round it. We have to cut it in half. So 4 plus 5 is 9. -3, 6 dice. He did it. That's fantastic. Huge roll right there. Hank isn't scared of no Dole. I'm not sure. It doesn't say anything about the nightmarish, overwhelming, or the nightmarish stuff in Hank's card. I'm going to assume that he's going to have to take the nightmarish one and the overwhelming one hit here, even though we defeated him. So getting rid of one of each of those. And that's a huge monster trophy. He's almost to the 5 toughness. Ah, that was a big roll. Dynamite is gone. So he paid the price regardless, going to Cold Spring Glen and getting those 2 clue tokens. That was close. Alright, it's Mythos time. Let's see what Ghatanathoa has for us on turn 3. It is another environment. And it's duly named. Happy Days Are Here Again. Good. We get a gate in the woods. Alright. And the clue appears at the Historical Society, which is down there. We need a monster in our woods. Let's hope it's a goat spawn. That would be thematic. Oh, it's a Shoggoth. I feel like I get to run into those like crazy. This one's not easy either. Easier than the Dole, but still needing 3 successes is never something that you want. Alright. In this case, it's square, diamonds, and circles that are moving. I don't have any of those monsters out currently, so not a bad thing there. The terror, more or less, the terror level cannot increase, so that's good. But you know what? The one thing I maybe need to look at house rules or some variants about the terror level, because in general, the main way the terror track goes up is when you have too many monsters in the outskirts and the terror level goes up. getting monsters in the outskirts is very difficult when you're playing with multiple boards like this, because what happens is there's so many different unstable locations. There's 20 different unstable locations where gates can appear. So monster surges are quite rare compared to when you're just playing the base game and there's not as many locations. You're going to double up, triple up on those locations, get these monster surges, and all the monsters are coming in Arkham, which therefore increases the terror track. I find the terror track to be extremely anticlimactic, with these expansions, which is fine. I mean, so the game's still awesome, and I mean, I'm still very focused on the sealing of gates and all of that jazz. But that's one thing that I just feel doesn't get much play, just because of, just how the game works when you're playing with multiple expansions. So that is turn 3. We avoided the first stare into Ghatanathoa, and Hank's close to having enough clues. Williams delayed in the graveyard, but eventually he'll get to a gate. And I'm feeling pretty good after turn 3. So let's go ahead and go on to turn 4. Alrighty, turn 4, here we come. After watching my video on turn 3, I realized that Marie needed to actually lose a sanity when she used that tome, so she does that now. And then the other thing, I mean, not a mistake, but just as I've been, panning the board, and Barnabas is going to enter that vortex if I don't do something about him. Plus, he removes a Doom token if I defeat him. Hank has 4 clue tokens, and it's about to get it's time to go nuts on Mr. Barnabas. So just heads up on what's gonna be happening here in turn 4. Excited about it. Let's get rid of a Doom token, which is just crazy. If everything goes as planned, or if we get lucky, I guess I should say. All right. So Bob here is our first player. Now Bob, as I had noticed before, has this old journal which allows him to get 3 clue tokens if he passes. So for his upkeep, he is doing his lore luck movement, which is not a huge deal anyway because he has +1 luck. So not a huge deal regardless. Not like luck comes into play all that much anyway. So we don't have that Mythos card in hand anymore, so he still has the speed of 5. And I need him to get 5 clue tokens. So if he can pass that old journal and go get another clue token, he passes his old money personal story. So let's go ahead and do that. The first thing we're going to do is do that old journal, which says you exhaust and spend 1 movement point to make a lore -1 check. If I pass, I get 3 clue tokens. So it's just 1 die on this turn. I'll get his lore up 1 more on the next turn, but maybe we get lucky here. We did not. So, oh well. Not a huge deal. But he does need to figure out some place to get himself a clue token. And with the rest of our movement points, we're going to go up to the now I could go to Independent Square. Those 2 clue tokens are just sitting there, just waiting to be, they're tantalizing. But at this juncture, I know that Bob's going to be able to get 5, and I have a 1 in 7 chance of him getting devoured. Not worth it at this very juncture. So he's going to just go to the Unvisited Isle. Alright, and Marie, she has her 4 clue tokens. She also has both her Dole Chance and the Cult de Gaulle, but we're mostly interested in the Cult de Gaulle because that would allow us to have her pass her personal story, which I'd love to do. So that's going to need 2 movement points, so we're going to do that now. And I know that means that she won't be able to go get a clue this turn, but I want to get her personal story taken care of. So let's see if we can get this done. She gets 2 dice. Lore -2 check. We are not doing too hot on this their turn. Shoot. Well, I wanted to get one of their personal stories done, but that wasn't the cards. I'm not going to use clue tokens for that. I can move 2 if I want to. And who knows? Let's go back to the library. The library's been pretty good to us, getting us tomes and all that good stuff. We're gonna deal with the same problem next turn though, so maybe we go this turn without an encounter, and we're just gonna move up to the merchant district, get her closer to a clue. Alright, I'm being wishy-washy. These are the silly little decisions that you make in Arkham Horror. In this case, she's just going to move down to Uptown. Gets her... No, that's closer to the monster. Merchant District it is. End of discussion. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, and here's the big battle that I promised you. Mr. Sampson, let's do this. Because I don't want the Dunwich horror track to start going up. I can close one of these gates. I want to seal one of them here shortly. Hank getting one more clue. But let's not worry. I mean, plus, the benefit, as I've shown before, is huge. Remove 1 Doom token from the Doom track. That's awesome. So it is time to take him on. Hello, Barnabas. Alrighty. So, as I've done the math many times, you've heard me do the math many times, but he's got 5 fight, plus he's got this enchanted blade, which gives him +3, but it's rounded down, it's cut in half due to the magical resistance, and then rounded up. So that would give him 7 dice, but then he has the -3, so that's 4 dice. I need 2 successes. I'm ready to use clue tokens if need be. I really want to take care of Mr. Barnabas. So, here it is. Come on. Getting a little bit better on the rolling anyway. We will spend a clue token to re-roll. Ka-ching. That was not bad at all. Cool. 1 clue token used, and he is killed. He is not taken as a monster trophy, though. He goes back into the box, and we get to remove a Doom token from Ghatanathoa. So we go from 4 to 3. Very, very cool. I should have done that earlier. It doesn't really matter. Either way, I got him before we went into the vortex. So, well done, Mr. Sampson. Alright, then Yorick has a very uninteresting, I'm going to stand up now, turn. And that's that. So, in counterface, this turn's going very quickly. Marie does not, or Bob is going to have an encounter at the unvisited isle. Alright, let's see what happens to Bob at this not visited isle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Alright, a silent man brushes past you on the trail. Your arm goes numb with cold from the brief contact, and you whirl around to look at him, but he has disappeared. Lose 1 stamina, and pass a will -1 check, or lose 1 sanity as well. Alright, so we lose 1 stamina, for sure. Will -1 check. He has got 4 will, so I get 3 dice. He shouldn't be losing any more sanity. Well, he's not going to. So not too shabby there. But Bob's got to be freaking out. He's been getting the creepy encounters, that's for sure. Alrighty. Next we have Marie, no encounter. Then we have Hank, no encounter. William is still in the graveyard. So let's try and not get delayed again there, Mr. Yorick. 18. Got the bottom one. Yay, it's ally time, hopefully. You find a man painting a picture of one of the horrible gargoyles lining the walls of the graveyard. Seeing you, he introduces himself as Richard Upton Pickman, a painter visiting from Boston. If you spend monster trophies that have a total of 5 toughness, Pickman takes a liking to you. Take his ally card. Shoot. I don't have any monster trophies. And I need monster trophies. His special skill is awesome. I can spend monster trophies as clues. But, alas, not happening on this turn. Alright, so before we go to the Mythos phase, I thought I'd talk about Innsmouth for just a quick second. Nothing's been happening in Innsmouth yet. I'm not going to jerry-rig any of the Mythos cards to get Innsmouth cards, because if you mess with Cthulhu, you're just in, heaps of trouble. So I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to let Ghatanathoa throw at me what he wants to throw at me. But just some thoughts just about the board and whatnot. This Deep Ones track is important here. If this gets to 6, the Ancient One awakens. And when do these Deep One tokens come? Well, most of the time it's when you have a sealed gate and the Mythos card wants you to put a gate there. Then you're not able to, you put a Deep Ones Rising token on here. If monsters go into these vortexes, same thing. So that's the main. Well, those are the only ways that the Deep One Rising tracks are going to rise, unless a encounter card makes it happen or whatever. You can spend clue tokens to more or less eliminate and wash out the Deep One Rising's track. You do that by spending clue tokens while you're in Innsmouth. And then also, once the Doom track goes up quite a bit, there's martial law in Innsmouth. So if you have to pass sneak checks to get around town, or else you get put in jail. So it's an interesting area. I also Devil Reef and Ghatanathoa. You're not supposed to be able to say that correctly. If I was, then I'd be a Deep One, and you all should be very concerned. But you cannot move to Ghatanathoa unless you take a boat from Falcon Point over to Devil Reef, and then on your next turn you go down to that location, which is actually underwater. Very hard to get to, very cool, very creepy, and so hopefully, again, I'm not going to force feed it, but hopefully my investigators will have to go down there eventually. So I'm going to say all that, and then if I draw an Innsmouth card, you're going to think I'm cheating, but I promise you I'm not. See? Told you, I'm not. We get a black cave gate. Black cave gate. The monster at the black cave is a Deep One. Voila. Alright, monster movement. It's just circle, square, diamond. The Shoggoth is a diamond. And he's red, so he moves twice. And he's moving on the white path, so boom, boom. He's now up at the Miskatonic University. The Deep One and the Night Gaunt aren't going anywhere. Alright. Clue appears at Hibbs Roadhouse if it can, but in this case, we have a gate there, so not so much. And we just keep cycling through these environments. So, The terror level can now rise, although it probably won't, as I talked about last turn. Luck checks in Arkham are made at a -1 penalty. Sneak checks are made at a +1 bonus. Alright, that works. Let's get ourselves a Doom token. So we're back to 4. And that is turn 4. I'm going to get these turn 3 and turn 4 uploaded, and we're going to keep going. Thanks for watching.